the soldiers went to the task, through the fire, the smoke, and the causing unrest. Bombs in the distance, the roar of the fight, but we stood together, side by side every night. The hum of the bullet, the sound of the blast. We held on tight, knowing we had to last. Through the ambushes and moments of fear, we kept marching forward, knowing our brothers were near. The hum of the bullet, the sound of the blast. We held on tight, knowing we had to last. Through the ambushes and moments of fear, we kept marching forward, knowing our brothers were near. I love the men I served, went through the hell and the fight. We stood together through the darkest of nights. Through bullets and mortars, we learned how to stand. We survived it all, represent this land. From the first votes to the fall of the crown, we watched it all and we'll never back down. Brothers in arms, we'll never forget the bond we forged, the blood and the sweat. We watched them vote for the first time in their lives. The hope in their eyes was the future that lies. We held our ground, knowing what it meant. For freedom and justice, the price that we spent. Then the day came, we watched it fall. As regime crumbled, we answered the call. It wasn't just a moment, it was history made. And we stood there watching it all fade. I love the men I served, went through the hell and the fight. We stood together through the darkest of nights. Through bullets and mortars, we learned how to stand. We survived it all, rulers in this land. From the first votes to the fall of the crown, we watched it all and we'll never back down. Brothers in arms, we'll never forget the bond we forged, the blood and the sweat. We've got scars on our bodies, and some we can't see, but we carry them proudly, cause we're brothers, we're free. The memories may fade, but this bond won't break. Through the fire and chaos, we never lost faith. I love the men I served, went through the hell and the fight. We stood together through the darkest of nights. Through bullets and mortars, we learned how to stand. We survived it all, brothers in this land. From the first votes to the fall of the crown, we watched it all and we'll never back down. Brothers in arms, we'll never forget the bond we forged, the blood and the sweat. So here's to the men who stood in the fire, who answered the call and never retire. Through the battles and storms, we'll always stay true. Brothers in arms, I'll always love you. We watched them vote for the first time in their lives. The hope in their eyes, the future that arrives. We watched them vote for the first time in their lives. The hope in their eyes, the future that arrives. Then the day came, we watched him fall. Saddam's regime crumbled, we answered the call. It wasn't just a moment, it was history made. And we stood there, watching it all fade. The memories may fade, but this bond won't break. Through the fire and chaos, we never lost faith. I love the men I served, went through the hell and the fight. We stood together through the darkest of nights. Through bullets and mortars, we learned how to stand. We survived it all, rulers in this land. From the first votes to the fall of the crown, we watched it all and we'll never back down. Brothers in arms, we'll never forget the bond we forged, the blood and the sweat. So here's to the men who stood in the fire, who answered the call and then never retired.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Patriot View. It's been so long. I think it's been, I think January, so it's been a full 4 months and change, 5 months maybe. But yeah, glad everybody showed up. There's a lot of action in chat already. We got 8 viewers, it says. Not bad for an intro video, huh? Or it got me sweating and everything. Well, today is Armed Forces Day, so anybody in the military, I appreciate your service, including the Space Force guys. I guess they count. What kind of prompted today's episode is yeah, still rocking the Razor headset, absolutely. Um, kind of prompted this episode. I thought, what a better day to pick up another one other than Armed Forces Day. So here we are. We have a special guest today. We're going to invite someone back. He's been on this show before. You all will absolutely know who he is the second you see him. I think he identifies as a him. Hard telling. 2025. You know, everybody can do what they want. It seems like. But today is. I appreciate your guys' appreciation, but today is not for veterans. Today is for active service members, people who are still enlisted and still wearing the uniform, serving our people today. Very important, I think, to differentiate the difference. And we got Memorial Day, which is dead people, for lack of a way we put it. We got uh, Veterans Day is for people who served 180 days consecutively in our armed forces. Doesn't matter what branch, active duty or not. 180 consecutive days of service is the dealer, or anyone, even if you didn't serve 180 consecutive days, anyone who was injured in the line of duty in support of certain operations, Iraqi freedom, enduring freedom, etc., etc., etc. Then yeah, today is Armed Forces Day, and that's for people who are alive and still in. A lot of people don't know about this one, but Memorial Day is next Sunday, Monday. We we could have put flags out. My Legion post got flags out. We always do flags. Remember, I think it was either last year. I'm trying to think. Last year, the year before, we put flags on all the veterans' graves, and I just walked around with my phone. We did a live stream and recorded my family putting flags on all the East veterans' graves around our area. So, without further ado, Blue Falcon, I didn't say I appreciate your service. Well, I appreciate you as well, dummy. So, without further ado, let's bring in our special guest. See if it's ready here. Hey, there he is. What's up, old
What's up,
friend?
old friend? What's up? How
Oh,
you doing, man?
you got your chat real loud. I can hear myself a little bit.
Let me see if I can fix that.
Already burning up. Well, Michelle said, "Oh, there goes the stream." Yep, kind of look like Denny Hamlin in them glasses. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Not that bad, is it?
Cowbell Cody, what's going on, brother? Ain't heard from you in a while. How you been?
Cowbell, Cody, Blue Falcon, Solid Band, Meat Shield. Good to see all you guys. You like the hat? She loves the cup.
Speedy's in there. Speedy says hi. He was up there earlier.
Oh yeah, he is. Hey, Speedy. Good to see you, buddy. I'm so excited to hear about your flight training, taking wings, so to speak, and growing. I'm really excited for you, brother.
I kind of kept him up to date on your progress there, Speedy, and whatever I could, whatever, basically whatever stuff you told me to share with him. I went gonna pick some banjo, brother. I would love. You know what? That's what get you on one of these. It's a special guest banjo. I do. Oh, I should have worn my Carolina Picker hat. Got one hanging right there. I can see.
Ooh, that would have been cool. Been cool if he'd been here hanging out with me last night. I actually picked up my guitar or a guitar for the first time in a long time last night.
Yeah. Are you any good at it?
Not really. If I was good at it, I wouldn't work for a living.
True. You don't need that negativity in your life anyway. Somebody told me that. I can't remember who. He's probably an idiot.
He's probably a wise man.
Well, for those of you who don't know, this is the CIA Cowboy. He's been on a hiatus for about 6 months, longer from Patriot View. I think it's been probably a year and a half, maybe, for on the Patriot View.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a minute, and I've been unplugged from pretty much everything online for the last 6 months or so. Just kind of focusing on family and then also been putting together a new business, so I don't know if that's going to show up on camera or not. But I am now the MO Candy Man, and so I make freeze dried candy. We're getting our company launched officially this coming week, and I'm pretty excited about that. We'll have our industrial kitchen set up, and we'll be vending candy. No, I don't drive a van, but I have threatened to buy a white van, put a sign that says free candy on the side, because I mean, who else you going to trust but a skinny white guy driving a white van, with signs that say free candy?
Yeah, he definitely drives a van. Let's get probably like a 1987 Ford Econoline 250.
Park it outside of middle schools mostly.
I mean, if that's where you're selling candy, it makes sense. Hey, Speedy says thanks, CIA. I will always keep you all up to date with that. I guess so. Speedy, tell us what you've done so far with your flight training stuff. Well, I'm interested to hear. I know last I heard, I think you had to go down 5 days. Was it 5 days or 5 hours? I'll just let you tell this. My memory.
Yeah, definitely. You keep us up on that. Jukebox, what's up, buddy? Yeah, the Candyman can. That's exactly right. Somebody asked me, said, you sell pretty good when you're selling candy, because I do sell. I'm a vendor for House Candy Company, and they don't do freeze dry. They do basic candies. One of my biggest customers is Junkyard, and I generally sell them about $300 worth of candy and potato chips every week. My buddy asked me, he said, man, he said, how do you sell so much candy and chips at a junkyard? I said, it was real easy. I said, I walked in and I smiled. He said, what's that got to do with it? I said, well, who you gonna buy candy from but the guy with no teeth? You know he's got the best candy.
That's a pretty good sales pitch there.
Pays the bills.
What else has been happening, man? Gotta catch up.
Well, as you know, I've been doing a lot of work with RPM Ranch over in Stockton, getting them set up for their first Veterans Retreat, which just was held last week, and that went off quite well. We've got 3 more camps coming up this summer, 2 3-week camps and 1 1 week camp. And so I've been pretty involved with them, and I'm excited about working with Riley and my brother Justin over there. They're doing some good things for young men in general, and for veterans specifically with this veterans retreat. I think you came over and joined us for that. What did you think?
Well, it was pretty good. I was a little caught off guard by the religious aspect of it. I guess I wasn't. Uh, I don't want to say prepared. I wasn't. I just didn't know how much of a foundation religion was going to be, and everybody. I mean, everybody involved was religious, so it wasn't offensive or anything. I was just caught off guard by it. But a lot of the lessons that the Bible teaches are good for humans anyways, no matter what religion you are. I mean, don't cheat on your wife, don't kill people, don't need killing. It's it was awesome. It was absolutely transformative, life changing. Like I literally, a week ago, or how long has it been now? I think I was down there a week ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's been. Let's see. Last this past Monday would have been a week that you came down. No, no, you came down Wednesday night, so Thursday. You got there Thursday morning.
Okay. So yeah, so a week and change ago, but and it was transformative. I thought a week and a half ago that my future was working in the factory I work in, babysitting adults, and that that was the the rut I was going to be stuck in, and I wasn't having it. And I kind of talked to my wife about it and about just going down there. I was like, "What do you think? Like, let's pack up the camper tonight and leave tomorrow." And she said, "You know what? I'm tired of this too. Let's do it." And so we did. We packed up. We went down there. Cowboy is the one who invited me down there. Like I said, he works with the ranch and everything. So I kind of accepted his invite, and that wasn't supposed to be my destination, really. I left the house with the sole purpose of getting away from here for a little while and just, uh, you know, taking a break, man. Life can be, it can drag you down if you let it. And that's what I caught myself. I was just getting run down and dragged down, and I was tired and angry, and all the things that happened to us. And so Melissa agreed. Let's just go. Like if we don't pack everything, whatever. If the truck ain't perfect, whatever. If the camper ain't perfect, whatever. And so we went. We did it, and it was fantastic. We spent. Let's see. We got down. What day did you say we got down there?
You got down there Wednesday, and you told me you were leaving Saturday morning, and I'll let you tell them what you actually did after that.
Okay, so yeah, so we got down there, and then day one, basically we got down there, kind of set up, got a little tour of the place, whatever. Got to meet Cowboy, got to meet his brother, got to meet a couple of the people who work on the ranch, and the guy who runs the ranch. His name's Riley. We'll probably be talking about him a little bit today, if I had to guess. Uh, you know, just kind of no really plan for that night, and then I think I got down there Thursday, to be honest with you. Sure, it was Wednesday.
Yeah, it was Thursday morning around lunchtime when you got there. You left on Wednesday, and then
Yeah,
y'all pulled over and slept the night.
yep, that's what it was. Good call. And so, the thing started. We didn't really do nothing Thursday night. The thing started Friday, and it was just kind of wake up. They're like breakfast is about 8 o'clock, and uh, I don't even think I made breakfast the first day. I was whooped. Drive and preparation.
You didn't.
Yeah, and so which everyone was tolerant of, which is fantastic. And then I'm not a very sociable person. I mean, you all know me as the guy behind the camera. I play video games with you guys. I show every once in a while, and pretty much I don't socialize with anybody outside of my circle. And so it was kind of intimidating walking in there for breakfast. I didn't know whether there was 3 people in the room or whether this was like a veterans camp with like 30 people. But walked in there and there was probably 10 to 12 people in the chow hall, I guess for lack of a better way to put it. And everybody kind of introduced themselves to me, and we kind of sat down. And I remember one of the first thing is it would be Cowboy's sister-in-law. That was the only chair left open, was a table next to her. And I was like, "Hey, is anybody sitting here?" And I don't think she heard me or something. So I just kind of sat my stuff down and sat down. I was like, "Well, thanks for being friendly," or something. I said something smart ass, just to be honest. And and then her husband, Cowboy's brother, looked at me and just started laughing. And I was like, okay, cool. So I might fit in with these people. And as the weekend progressed, obviously I have I'm a smart aleck, so I cracking jokes and being sarcastic the whole weekend, and everybody appreciated it. And they're the exact same. That's what they were doing. Yeah, Salad says me a smart ass, never. Yeah, but
Yeah, you were part of the family instantly.
absolutely fit right in, and everybody was so nice and welcoming. We had breakfast, and then we went out to the barn. Got some horses. I think they're at Bob, Larry, Seth, me, Don,
Scott,
Scott, 6 veterans.
trying to think of who the last one was.
But I don't know. Either way, six veterans, give or take. So we got a horse out basically for every veteran. And Riley was the guy leading the the farm, or the ranch manager, you could say, and he kind of led most of the most of the stuff there, most of the classes, I guess you could say, most of the events. And so the first thing we did, Riley took us out to the barn, got us all out horses, whatever. He kind of tried to match our personalities from what he had known just from half a day. Tried matching our personalities to the personality of his horses that he's worked with for years and years. And we just kind of got to know our horses and like led them around by their lead ropes, did that stuff, and then went and had lunch, came back and got to ride horses. And uh, bonding with a horse, I don't know how many of you guys in chat have ever done it, but it's a transformative experience. Like horses, first of all, they're massive. I think the horse that I had, I think he said weighed 1,200 pounds, and I mean this thing, his shoulders are this wide. Like he could drag an S10 pickup through a creek. And
Basil's probably actually done that with my brother's S10 pickup, just so you know.
I believe it. That horse is a monster. But yeah, so rode around on Basil's the horse's name, 14 years old, and his brother Riley has had him for 12 years of his 14-year life. He got him when he was 2. There's the name for that, gelding. I learned. Um, did that, and I just the bonding experience I had on day one with that horse. It opened the door for the rest of the week. It was awesome. We got to ride him around, and we ended up in probably 2.5 hours that we spent together, me and the horse, Basil. I mean, he went from testing the waters, seeing how stubborn I was, to being like, okay, this guy's gonna go ahead and be the boss. I'll just give in. And he submitted himself to me and allowed me to control him and ride him around, and we did all sorts of cool things that he knew how to do. He taught me how to ride him, like backing up and turning in 360s and stuff. Like if I touch my left heel to his belly, he just spins in a circle. He doesn't go forward. But if I kick him in the belly, he'll go forward. So he taught me all types of stuff. Like it was an amazing horse to teach me how to ride. But it made me fall in love. I literally told Melissa, I said, when we get home, I'm selling my Camaro and I'm buying a horse. And I'm serious. I am. I'm gonna buy a horse. It was very therapeutic. It was four of the most therapeutic days I've ever had. Uh, since war. To be honest with you, the other thing that is that therapeutic you can't do in this country. So, you kind of took part in the deal, Cowboy. We got to spend a few days together doing a lot of the events. What do you think?
I did. I took 4 days off work and spent the time there at the ranch and was able to be involved in every aspect of it, just about, at least to observe, if not actually be physically involved. And I've worked around Riley and my brother off and on since 2012, and so I know what kind of men they are. They're true brothers, and knowing what I know about them, it definitely opens your eyes when you see them working with a friend, someone that you count as another brother, and then watching that brother change. And I did. I watched you change throughout the weekend. It was obvious that you were getting something beneficial to your head and to your soul, and that made me smile on the inside because I wasn't expecting you to really do very much with the camp when we talked. You're like, I don't really know if I'm going to do the whole camp thing, but I'll come do maybe breakfast and then we'll hang out and we'll go fishing. So I had planned on just taking 4 days off to spend with you. Getting to spend it with you doing those things, that was something that, I mean, that's in my mind, that's just as big as us meeting for the races a couple years ago.
Yeah, it was awesome. I forgot where I kind of started there. I got sidetracked with my newfound love for horses. But yeah. So it, that I told Cowboy, like, I'll come down there, but I was like, I'm not to be herded. We've talked about this on Patriot View tons of times. Don't put me in a box. Don't herd me around. Don't treat me like I'm a subject, right? And so I was like, I'll come down there for this deal, but honestly, I'm probably not going to walk around campus like taking course after course after course being lectured to for my time, my relaxation time. I was like, well, I'll come down there and stay. I planned to stay one night, and then I was going to leave Saturday and travel farther south into Arkansas and see some family and stuff. But I ended up staying for the whole deal. But as far as is like your brother, are we naming him or how's that go?
Yeah, go ahead. You won't mind.
Okay, yeah. So Cowboy's brother, his name's Justin, and that like that guy's amazing. He was awesome. I can definitely if I go back down there, I should say when I go back down there, I will be shadowing him on the ranch to learn a lot of the things he's learned over the past 20 years with horses and stuff. He started when he was 19 down there. He said 35, I think now 34, something like that. He told me.
Yeah, he's 34 this year. So he's been 15 years, 16 years working with horses, working with Riley since about 2012, and my brother changed so much. It's kind of crazy actually looking at him. So when I was in my late teens, early 20s, after I had my car wreck, couldn't get into the Navy, I started messing with horses, training horses for a living, and started riding rodeos for a living. And my brother always looked up to me. He's like, man, he's like, I want to do what you're doing. And I knew the life I was living wasn't a good one for him. I was drinking really hard, really heavy. I was into some real stupid stuff when I was younger. And I didn't ever want him to go down that road. And so now it's kind of cool for me because I'm watching him do the life that I lived without the bad side to it. Like he's doing it the right way, and he's making a difference in other people's lives while he does it. And I am so proud of my brother. I mean, he's my baby brother. He's 9 years younger than me, and he's the youngest of seven. I'm the oldest of seven. We have five sisters between us,
Well,
but I look up to my baby brother.
yeah, he's an easy man to look up to for sure. I think, I mean, the short time I've known him, it seems like he's put a lifetime of work into that probably.
He has. He's real, and yeah, he'll talk to you about God and he'll talk to you about his faith. and everything that he says to you in that area is something that he lives out every single day on that ranch, and it's something that he's not afraid to share. But at the same time, he doesn't open your mouth and force feed it down your throat either. It's just like, it's here. This is what I believe. This is how I live. And if you want to be part of that, you're welcome to. If you're not, you're still welcome to hang out with me, and I will still treat you as if you're my friend and brother.
Yeah, that was a very emphatic thing that I noticed. I'm glad you said that. Uh, I don't think he needs to preach. I don't think he needs to witness to nobody or tell anybody about his faith or any of this other stuff because he lives it, man. Just hanging around him, like, and he doesn't live it in a weird way to where like, oh, hold on, I gotta go pray to the east for 5 minutes or nothing. Like we don't have to stop our day. He just lives the whole thing, start to finish. He treats his wife good, treats his kids good, treats his animals good, works hard. You just told me that he got home the other night at 10:30. He worked a full day at the ranch, and then friend called and said, "Hey, my water heater's out. Can you help me?" And he went over and got a water heater and piped in a gas water heater with gas lines and water lines. Got home at 10:30 at night. He's just a very very giving person. He's definitely a good influence.
He is, and that's the kind of person he is. You and I, we talked about his truck, how much he loves that old Ford truck. And, he's kind of stuck on that truck. He bought it from a school and it had, I think, 300,000 miles on it. When he bought it, the odometer doesn't work anymore. And there's no telling how many miles it actually has. The door on the driver's side, you have to pry it up to get it to shut, and you got to fight it to get it open. And I told him, I said, why don't we get you a better truck? He's like, what's wrong with this one? It gets me from point A to point B. And part of me thinks, well, the guy who does that much to help other people shouldn't have to drive a truck that you got to beat the door open and beat the door closed on. Yet at the same time, this is the same guy who says, I don't need anything better. It does what I need it to do. All I care about is that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do in the world. And that, like I said, I look up to my brother. That's who I want to be when I grow up.
That's a damn good person to look up to for sure. I want to go back to Speedy here for a minute. Uh, I asked Speedy to update us about his flight things. It's 5 hours, not 5 days. So, I mean, 5 days of flights would have been awesome. But his response to my question was, done nothing yet, but it's all booked for mid-August for 5 hours in two different planes. 2 hours will be in a Piper PA-28. We know what that is, a Cherokee. And the last 3 hours
Yeah.
will be in a Piper 28 151. Oh, a 181 Cherokee Archer. So that's the higher horsepower model, and then the Cherokee Warrior, which is one that I'm familiar with. Oh, and we'll be getting all 5 hours recorded into us. Heck yeah. At Speedy, we will absolutely put that out there for you. Absolutely.
Heck yeah, that'd be cool as heck. So yeah, so you're getting some time in the Cherokee 180 and the Cherokee 140. That's pretty slick. I like the Warrior. It's a smooth flying little aircraft. In fact, I have quite a few hours in flight sim on the Warrior.
Yeah, is that the ones we bought from Just Flight or whatever it was?
Yep.
Yeah, that's a sweet little rig there.
Yeah, it is, and it flies just as it should in real life. I haven't spent much time in flight sim the last couple of months, but I need to spend some more time in flight sim. And I probably will be soon. And I've got a couple of Boeing Stearmans in FS Economy now, and so I've been spending some time in those when I do get into flight sim, doing the old mail routes and following the arrows across America. Some cool stuff. So yeah, I mean I've missed doing a lot of the gaming, but I've been real focused on family. And I should have actually sent you some pictures before we started this. Been real focused on gardening, man. I've learned so much about gardening this year. We've been fixing up the old house and adding in some plants inside and outside, food plants and pretty plants as both of those grow. And that's been kind of cool, learning all the information I need to know on how to grow them, which plants go together, and all that good stuff.
Taliban says, "Let me know if and when you're doing group flights again. Those are really fun. In fact, they were really fun. That's kind of what, if anybody remembers, we did Tropic Thunder. I think it was 2022.
Yep, that was the last time, and I really want to get that put back together. That's a big deal.
Yeah, Tropic Thunder was amazing. Actually, two of the guys at the veterans camp were Vietnam veterans. Dang, I wish I would have got that video of Bob on my computer. I might do that here. We'll take a break in a little while. I might try to put that on Google Drive or something so everybody can watch that together. It's uh, amazing video. But uh, Vietnam Veterans
You
Day is
you could play it in Discord. on your phone. Just play it in Discord on your phone and then stream it to the stream.
Hmm. And I could see the video.
If you had Discord as a source, I think they could.
Well, maybe we'll figure something out. I'll figure it out before the end of the stream for sure. Even if you just gotta talk for 2 minutes, you ain't got a problem doing that. We all know.
No, I got you covered.
Um, but yeah, the Vietnam Veterans Day is March 27th. Is that right?
That's right.
Okay, yeah. So that's Tropic Thunder's not happened this year, obviously. It's past us, but still that's kind of what started me and him on the group flight things, and then Cowbell Cody. I don't know if he's still in here or not. He was a big proponent of it too. We were able to like we did some C-130 escorts and stuff, and got escorts. It was really cool. Group flights are definitely fun.
Well, he's the one who actually got us the Vietnam Helo pilots to come sit in Discord and tell their stories that year. It was his dad and the group that he flew with that came into Discord and shared all their stories as we flew.
I had no idea that was his dad until right now.
Yeah, yeah, that was all his dad and his dad's buddies. They were all Huey pilots in Vietnam together. Some really amazing men who I imagine at that point in their life were probably young men, younger than you and I are now. And, sometimes I wonder, looking back, how they feel about that time. Sometimes they can't be completely open about it because they can't share everything or they
Sure.
just don't like people. And but that's some men that this country ought to be very, very proud of and very thankful that we have them.
You know, I was able to hear a lot of the stories that uh, they told. Don and Larry were the names of the two Vietnam veterans down there with them. I was able to sit down and listen in a private room. You know, they weren't broadcasting out to the world. They weren't crying to a psych doctor or the VA or whatever. They were just sitting down and talking to us about it. And man, I've never wanted more to get these guys' stories out because we can't do them like we did the World War II veterans. You know, there are still some World War II veterans alive. I don't know how many, but it's not very much. But we kind of let honestly about 90% of the truth escape us because no one sat down with these guys and asked them and took the time and gave them our time to listen. And they deserve better than that. And I don't want our Vietnam veterans to all die without giving us the true accounts of their a lot of it heroic actions.
Yeah, I agree 100% with that. And I've known Don. I met Don in 2013, and he and I actually worked together 12 hours a night for about 4 years. And so I've gotten to know him very well. That's another person that I can tell you anything that he talks to you as far as character and how men ought to be and how men ought to live their lives. That's the life that he lives. He is a very honest and open book type of guy, and he's somebody I count as a very dear friend.
Yeah, I can see that. With Don, we were able to do a kind of a ceremony, I guess you'd call it, the flag retirement and renewal ceremony.
Yep, that really meant something to him. That was a pretty big deal to him.
Well, why don't you tell us about it?
So Cody came down to this camp, and like he said, he wasn't even planning on really being part of the camp. He was supposed to leave the next day. Then he was supposed to leave the next day. Then he was supposed to leave the next day. He ended up staying through till Monday, and so it was a little longer weekend than he planned on it being. But at the close of the camp on was that Sunday that they did that?
Yep,
I think it was Sunday.
Sunday at noon was our last breakfast.
Yeah, yeah, we did our last meal at Sunday lunch at noon. And Cody had brought in some special things that he just happened to have in his truck, and he thought it would mean something to the veterans. And he had noticed that Don lives right there on the ranch property. Riley provides him a house rent free, so he's got a place to live. And Cody noticed that Don's 3x5 American flag was a little tattered on the flag mast. And so he went to his truck and he got a flag and brought it and asked if we could retire the flag. And so we did. We went over and we retired Don's flag with honors and put a new one up, and it was a touching moment. You know, I had my whole family there, and Cody had his family there, and Riley and his wife were there. My brother's family was there, and of course all the veterans. And so there was probably 15, 16 people standing around. And we just pulled the flag down, folded it correctly, and put the new flag up. And Riley got the chance to take part in that, and it was a touching ceremony, and it meant something to Don that somebody else thought enough of him just to provide him with something like that, especially somebody that he had just met. And I don't think even now, but a lot of those folks that were involved in that camp understand just how much of a profound difference they have made in people's lives by hosting that 4 day get together.
Yeah, absolutely. It was awesome. And and he kind of got an old beat up house. He kind of got an old beat up flagpole. It's kind of like a 30-foot aluminum flagpole that maybe he found on the side of the road and just stuffed in a steel pole he had driven in his yard. Like it didn't the flag wouldn't retreat correctly, and we ended up having to take the whole pole out of the holster it was in and do it. But it's cool that everybody was in tune enough to the situation to just kind of make it happen. And I had wrote some words. I don't have them with me right now, but I kind of came up. So the night before that, we all sat around the campfire. Some of the older gentlemen were reciting some poems, poetry, and uh, words, not necessarily even just poems, but just words that they had learned and memorized over the years. And so that kind of prompted me to write a little something and change out this flag the next day, which but that's what we're talking about now. And actually, Cowboy, I think it was your Candyman company provided a couple $100 for the RPM Ranch. What do you call that? Souvenir store.
Actually, it's the Ride Pro Tack Shop. So they have a full saddle shop there on the ranch, but they also have Ride Pro RPM merchandise, which are hats, shirts, stickers, things like that. And so, I talked with my investors, and we agreed that each person and their family, any of them that had family there, were going to be able to go through and pick one thing out of the shop, whether it be a shirt, jacket, pants, whatever they wanted, and we were just going to write a check and cover it. And so we were able to do that, and that was really cool. I feel like that was one of the coolest things for me because I was able to not only give back to the veterans that were there, but also to give back to RPM and thank them for everything that they do.
Well, speaking of merchandise and monies, now would be a prompt time for me to plug a couple of things. The Patriot View still does have a Patreon up, which uh, I know we probably do not deserve at this point in time any monthly contribution because I don't stream monthly or weekly anymore. Life's got so damn busy that I've let other things take precedence over my time doing this stream. Which is also part of the reason that today is just kind of a thrown together stream. I thought Cowboy is available for some camera time today and Armed Forces Day, so I thought we'll just kind of do one. But I'm gonna try to get back into this. I'm gonna try to do better. I know we don't average a lot of viewers. We're not rolling in here and go live and have 1,000 people come in right away, and we don't do giveaways, none of that stuff. But I will say that I've started a fourth wall shop for the Patriotic Veteran channel, and I have sold probably I think like 3 or 4 coffee cups, a bunch of Huggies. I got here. Don't mind how dirty this one is because I use it every day. I do the desert tan, which is not showing up right now. Then I do the OD green. These are just standard 12-ounce Huggies. We got slim Huggies on there for like your seltzer drinks or Red Bulls size cans. So a Huggie's like $6. It costs me $3 to make one. So with your $6, I take $3 of it, make another one, and then I take the other $3 and give it to my Legion. So the past 90 days, I was able to donate $28 to my Legion, which I know doesn't sound like a whole lot, but my Legion is a very small Legion, so we have basically full dictation over what we do with our money.
That pays the phone bill. That makes it to where somebody can call the Legion when they need help.
Um, well, what we do with it, we actually don't even have a phone in our Legion. We are almost a remote, like we just have a room in our local community building that we're allowed to use when we want. But what we do is we pay for veterans' groceries, veterans' phone bills, gas bills,
Very cool.
travel. We give veterans rides to appointments. A lot of the older veterans here they've been going to say Chicago or Springfield or whatever VA clinic in Illinois that they go to, and we're able to pay someone $50 to take a veteran to an appointment or something just to make sure they have a ride and an able-bodied human there to help them get up the stairs and get out of the car and all the other things that they might need. So $28, it sounds small to most of us. You know, it's an hour's worth of work at a decent job, but it's also half of a veteran's phone bill, whatever. And it really helps a lot of people out, and we are able to discern where that money goes on a very small scale. Like I can pay half of a veteran's phone bill, and I don't have to ask permission or get any paperwork signed or anything like that. So, if you can find it in your hearts and in your wallets, head over to Fourth Wall / Patriotic Veteran and buy something.
Definitely, for sure. Can't think of a channel that's better supported than that one. Man, I really think we need to find a way to get that video uploaded. The more I think about it, the more I want them to hear Bob tell that story. That hearing him tell it around the campfire that night, I literally had to turn away because I don't think I was the only one either. I had tears running down my face, no joke. That was probably the single most touching moment of the whole camp for me, was sitting around that campfire listening to those guys share stories, and then Bob asked if he could recite a poem, and listening to him say it and the way that he said it, just, I mean, it was a gut punch. And then when you asked him, would he mind recording it on video later, the same feeling. Every time you hear it, it's the same feeling. And so, if we can get that uploaded, I definitely want you guys to hear it. I see Meat and Solid definitely are in for some group flights and group things. That I would love to put some group flights together again. I've got to get. I actually have a brand new Wind Wing joystick that I need to put some flight time on. But I've been so busy working trying to get this company off the ground. I haven't had time to fly like I should. I will be getting back into some gaming sometime in the near future. I don't know for sure when, but I will be doing it soon, and I will definitely let you guys know when. So hopefully he's able to get this video uploaded so that you guys can see it. I know he's probably worried about the sound quality because it was a little breezy, but I honestly really felt like the breeze just added to the moment that we had out there on the back porch at RPM and listening to Bob tell us the story in poem form. So I hope you guys have all been doing good. Man, there's a lot of names in chat tonight. Jukebox, always good to see you. Speedy, again, I'm super excited about your flight training, buddy. And Meat Shield, always good to see you too. We got Solid
I'm working
and
on it. Go ahead and plug RPM Ranch too if they got a website.
yep, names I haven't seen in a while. Blue Falcon, good to see you. Yeah, RPM Ranch. This link goes right to their camp. Yeah, thanks, Meat. I forgot I'm on push to talk. So this link goes right to RPM's camp page, and this is really cool. If you scroll down and click on the different brochures under our camps, they tell all the different camps that are coming up this summer. We just had the Men of Valor Veterans Retreat. That one is over. I'm really hoping to talk them into scheduling another one for the fall because it was really cool. We haven't even, like, Cody and I haven't even told you everything that we did. We worked with the horses, and he was really excited about that. We spent a whole day working with forges and doing some blacksmith work. And Cody and I started some knife projects in the forge, so that was pretty cool. That's the first time I've ever gotten to do that. But we have a 3 week camp coming up later this summer called Forge and Saddle Horsemanship, and that's going to be a 3 week long camp that starts June 7th. And then there's a vocational camp coming up that's 3 week long, and then a 1 week faith in action camp coming up. So you can check out their main website at let's see, I think it's just rideprosperously.com. Let me backspace that. Yeah, just rideprosperously.com will take you to their main page, and you can see some pictures of some of the horses and read some testimonials from people that have worked with Riley and Justin over the years. They have internships available for young men. Um, really, really cool stuff coming up this year for them, and I'm super excited about everything that's happening there. It's Riley Olson is all about making men. He said that's one thing that America needs is men. We seem to have a shortage of people that have character and a shortage of people that are willing to work. And so he's he's focused on making men, and that's what each of these camps are for. So, are we making progress with that video?
Yeah, so I've got it. I went ahead and cut off the start and the finish because obviously that took a way longer video. I always hit record, before I'm ready. I got it cut and edited, and it's uploading to YouTube right now. So what I can do is just like we do our break videos under normal circumstances. I don't know if you remember or not. Is
Yep.
we, I will upload it to YouTube, and then one of our breaks, I'll just slide it in the old break screen there, and we can watch it together.
Perfect. Perfect. So that should upload pretty quick. But yeah, why don't you tell them a little bit about your Forge experience? That was pretty fun, wasn't it?
Oh, I should have brought my knife in the house. Yeah, we did. So that was day two. We went. Let's see, how did day two start? Did we fish before forge or forge before fish, or was that a different day?
That was a different day. We went fishing like pretty much all day.
Okay, well, whatever day we forged, don't remember. I think it was a Saturday, but it could have been a Tuesday. I have no idea. We went and they had just got some forges set up, and I mean like fresh welds. Just got some forges set up, and so I happened to be the only person there who had ever actually forged anything before, and I took a metals class in high school, and that was it. But I watched enough Forge and Fire to remember most of my lessons, I think. So we were able to all make it through the forging process together. We got to start with horseshoes, obviously being on a horse ranch, and we learned how to like the difference between cold forging and hot forging. So cold forging horseshoes, you don't use any heat, just beat the snot out of a horseshoe with a hammer until it's about the shape of the horse's hoof. And then Riley was telling us, he cold forged for 15 years or whatever, and then he was finally profitable enough, I guess, to get a hot forge, an actual LP forge, and put in his forging truck or trailer or whatever he used to travel around and horseshoe people's horses for him to shoe people's horses. He's a farrier. He started off, he paid for his college uh, by shoeing horses.
In Chicago, we might add, he managed to find enough work shoeing horses around the city of Chicago that he paid his way through college.
Yeah, true. Yes, he went to college in Chicago, and he lived in Northwest Indiana, like actually right by where my aunt. I'm not gonna name the city, but right by where my aunt lives. So kind of a small world. Whenever, you know,
He learned a little bit about rodeos while he was there too.
yeah, I think he's spent some time in the air and spent some time on the ground, probably.
I mean, like the types of rodeos to make sure you understand what initials stand for.
Oh yeah, man, I wish I knew that story. I'm not gonna tell his story on his behalf though. That's funny. Long story short, he went to a rodeo, and whatever the initials, the acronym they use for the rodeo, like IGRA or something, it was like Illinois Gay Rodeoers or something. I don't know what, but he thought he was going to a rodeo, and it ended up being like a drag festival or something, right?
Yep, yep, is the Illinois Gay Rodeo Association, and he didn't realize that until about 30, 40 minutes into it. He realized like, man, these girls out here, they ain't girls.
Oh, what a hoot. Anyways, so yep, got to do some forging, and then obviously once we applied the heat to the horseshoes, they move much easier, much faster. And after we were done with the horseshoe lesson, like, so I got some metal here if you guys want to start. So we were all able to actually start making our own whatever we wanted to make. There was no foundation for what we had to do or start with, and we just I grabbed a file, a farrier's file, a file. Pardon me. Oh boy, a file that Riley had actually used to file horseshoes or file horse hooves prior to shoeing, an old worn out file, and so I got a pretty good kukri started for those of you who know anything about forging, sort of Asian style of short sword.
That was pretty cool doing the forge work. I started working on a knife project myself, and hopefully, when you come back to visit, we'll be able to get back in there together and work some more on them. I'd really like that. It'd be kind of cool. Maybe we could figure out a way. I don't know for sure how. Maybe we could figure out a way to get them forges set up where we have internet and maybe do a live forge stream. That'd be pretty slick.
I did have decent signal down there, and I mean, on my business line, I've got unlimited hotspots. So if we could get really the hardest part would be honestly be getting, but I would say I said the hardest part, but honestly, Liz and Kyla run cameras. They know that stuff, so we could actually have cameras that move and actively pursue us as we're working or something.
Oh yeah, that would be cool. That'd be cool. Speedy says he's sending you a pic of his grandpa's World War II bugles. I remember him telling us the story of those.
Yep. So he told me a couple of months ago that he got the other one. So remember, he his as
Nice.
his grandpa carried one of them and then had one for like formal things, I believe. And his I think it was Speedy's brother had the one that he carried, and then Speedy had the formal one. And now he has. Yep, there's the picture right there. Now he has them both. Man, I wish I knew how to put pictures in. Dang. I haven't done this in so long, boys and girls.
Did your video go up?
Let's see. It's at pending, finalizing right now.
Nice.
Finalizing right now. So we're 51 minutes in. Let's go for about another 10 minutes, and we'll take a little breaky break. So,
Yeah, I really wanted to hear that video from Bob, and I always enjoy hearing it again. We sat and listened to it after you sent it the other day, and it was just hearing him say it live is different, but just getting to hear him say it again is there's so much feeling.
absolutely, and that's I wish I would have got my phone out in time when he was standing 2 foot off a campfire. The flames were lighting up his face, and he was reciting this super emotional poem. And the way he recites it, you all will see whenever you see this video. Um, the way he recites it, it is not like reading it off a piece of paper. So the next day when I was like, hey, do you mind if I take a video of you reciting that poem? And he said, no, I don't have to recite it again. You can just look it up on Google. And I said, Bob, me reading a poem on a phone screen is absolutely not the same thing as you reading it. And I told him, I said, the way you recite it is magical. It truly is. His pauses are perfect. His inflections and enunciation and body language and everything, just it makes it. You guys might remember about a year and a half ago, I shared a story about Sergeant George Mills and this the poem he recited on Memorial Day in the graveyard about the flag. And when Bob opened up with his recital of this poetry, it I saw it all over again.
Yep, that was like a flood of memories come washed over me when he started quoting that. All I could see in my mind was that same look that George Mills had on his face when he was looking at that flag and saying that poem as he held that flag in his hands. Just the feeling, the raw emotion, the bare truth of it. Nothing hidden, no guile, no secondary motives, just pure raw emotion. And when Bob quotes that poem, you I could sit here, he could sit here and tell you about it, but you'll just have to see when you watch the video. It'll blow your mind.
I want to give a shout out again to Denny Hamlin. Thanks for joining us, Denny.
Yeah, you will.
So I'm looking at this picture of these bugles here, and I know you all can't see it. Definitely says made in London. Yes, Speedy, you have the ability to post that, and there you go. Speedy, you're still a mod, homie. Share our Discord, our Patriotic Veterans Gaming Channel Discord in there, and put it in the pictures, man. Everybody deserves to see this. London, what year does that say? Yeah, solid band, you didn't set that up yet.
This is this is fun. Keep doing that. I can actually see the look on her face right now with the face that she just made.
Yeah, she says, what? Do we not have that? I don't know. Have you set it up? Admin? Moderator people?
Get them jukebox. Best mods ever.
Jukebox, welcome and thank you for the follow today. I know we've been in a stream together before. I don't know if it was Patriot View. I would imagine you would have followed if you were in here. So I imagine it's probably one of Cowboy streams or something that we met in previous.
Yep. Yeah, he's been in my stream for sure. And I met him through Solid and Elf. Good dude.
Okay.
Good old Southern boy from Tennessee. He's got to be all right. He ain't a Hatfield, so that's good enough for me.
Well,
He's all right, she said.
trying to find an emoji here. I just don't know. There, apparently all of my custom ones are gone. Oh, that's on Patriotic Veteran. Again, don't stream anymore, so no cool emojis for you guys.
Yeah, one of these days I might just reboot my stream. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Right now, I'm really focused on getting this company off the ground and getting some other stuff going. Man, I'll tell you, I'm excited to be doing this show though. When you asked if I wanted to do this, I was like, man, heck yeah, that'd be pretty cool. We haven't done that in a long time. I was really glad to, kind of share what we had together this week at the veterans camp. I got to look on as a non-veteran and see from the outside how this affected you as someone who served in combat, somebody who served the country, and not just you, but older guys that have served in other theaters than the one that you served in. And watching all of that from the outside was pretty life changing for me because I'm sitting there going, wow, these guys, they're not just here just enjoying the horses or just here enjoying the forge. These guys are actually getting something that feeds something deeper than just the surface. They're getting some healing. And that's pretty cool. Oh yeah, you did serve in two theaters, Afghanistan and Iraq, I forgot. So two different theaters. But I did. I watched you change. I watched them change, and Don, I've known for a long time. He's known my brother and Riley for a long time, been around them. But even he changed throughout the week as he got things that he needed in his life, and that was kind of cool.
Well, we are up on an hour almost, and now that we have another video to share, we're going to take two shorter breaks as opposed to one break. By two shorter breaks, I mean we're going to take one long break now, and then we'll show you that video. But I got to empty the bucket, to steal a phrase from one of our old streaming friends, Iceman. So we're going to go ahead and have a break video queued up for us, and that's going to lead us into the second half of our show. Unless you have any more you want to just talk about us. I mean, we spent an hour talking about us basically.
No, I'm good, man. Let's do the break video and then let's come back and show them Bob. I'm really excited about that.
Well, we're gonna come back. The break video is going to be. I know I haven't really shared my plans fully with you. But our break video is gonna kind of introduce what we're going to talk about next. Our break video is about Armed Forces Day, and then so we're going to take that, and then video kind of gives like a basic rundown of Armed Forces Day, what it is, where it comes from, all that type of stuff, and then I just want to cover a few basics about the United States military, all I guess Army, Navy. I guess you can count the Marines as their own branch. uh, Air Force, and then I know we got a Space Force now. Oh man, I don't think I looked nothing up for the Coast Guard. Uh-oh. Where's the picker at?
Where is he? He's gonna have to fill us in. If he would just drop in, he might be worth actually talking to about that.
Well, maybe while we're on our break, I'll shoot him a text message and see if he will come in and tell us about the Coast Guard history. But yep, we're up on a break, so we're gonna play a short video. Please stay tuned. And after the video, we're gonna talk about a little bit about the history of the American Armed Forces and Armed Forces Day.
Cool. See you after the break.
To honoring the United States military, and each of these days has a distinct purpose. Memorial Day, observed in May, is a solemn day of remembrance for those who gave their lives in service to our country. Coast Guard, and now, Space Force. President Harry S. Truman, a veteran himself, first declared that this day would serve as an opportunity for all Americans to thank their military. Before Armed Forces Day was established, each branch of the military had its own separate celebration: Army Day, Navy Day, and so on. Following the unification of the armed services under the newly created Department of Defense in 1947, a new idea was born. One day of holiday, in his words.
Armed Forces Day, Saturday, May 20th, 1950, marks the first combined demonstration by America's defense team of its progress toward readiness for any eventuality.
The theme that first year was direct and powerful, teamed for defense. From every corner of the globe, from the icy waters of the North Atlantic to the deserts of the Middle East, from space command posts to nuclear submarines below the sea. Today's armed forces are volunteers. They train for war so that peace may endure. They answer the call so that others don't have to, carried by the soldier alone. Spouses, children, and families also bear the load, holding down the home front, enduring long deployments, and living with uncertainty. Armed Forces Day honors them too, for they serve in their own way, with strength and grace. General Douglas MacArthur, in one of his final addresses, captured the essence of military service.
Duty, honor, country. Those three hallowed words, what you can be, what you will be.
In an uncertain world, we rely on those willing to face the storm so that we may enjoy the calm. We depend on them not only in times of war, but in disaster relief, humanitarian aid, cyber defense, and peacekeeping. Their role is ever expanding, their commitment unwavering. So this Armed Forces Day, take a moment, stand a little taller when you see that flag. Shake the hand of a service member. Teach your children why these men and women matter, because freedom isn't just an idea. It's a responsibility, safeguarded by the very best among us. President Ronald Reagan said it best.
Freedom is a fragile thing, and it's never more than one generation away from extinction. It is not ours by way of inheritance. It must be fought for and defended constantly by each generation, for it comes only once to a people.
From Lexington Green to Normandy, to write the story of those who will come after. To all who serve today, thank you. This nation is stronger, freer, and safer because of you. Happy Armed Forces Day.
Maybe. Back where you at? There you are.
That was a good video.
Like the progress on this other one. 77% it's at right now. So yeah, by the time we get done doing some talking here, we have a nice video for you guys.
Nice.
Let's I'm just gonna Google some
Yeah, I got you.
oh, the Marines have a video on there. Ooh. Alright. Oh, it's gonna work. Check this out. I can't believe that was real quick, we'll watch this together. Off there. Chat, let me know if you can't hear this.
Battles aren't won solely on the field. That's a common misconception. Battles are won within,
Not right.
over enemies of fear, enemies of doubt. In that place where promises are kept. Promises to oneself. Promises to one's community. Promises to one's country. In the heart of every Marine, you'll find a promise. A promise forever kept. A promise of battles won.
Well, that was a nice little video of the Marines put together there.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Probably should have put a little more time in beforehand about the Marines. Yeah. History of the Marine Corps. That's where we're at. November 10th, 1775. Ours is a legacy of having each other's back and never backing down. Our legendary battlefields like Guadalcanal, Chosin Reservoir, and Marja in defense of our national interest. Through necessary actions back home, enabling our own struggling communities to thrive once more. Then and now, every Marine is a United States Marine, fighting through every circumstance to continue our nation's. I'm not gonna lie to you, I was kind of hoping the Marine Corps website had a little bit more history for me than their birthday.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking here on the Navy too.
Oh, here we go. Crucial in securing victory over Japan in World War II was our Marine Navajo code talkers who provided the unbreakable code necessary to communicate on the battlefield effectively.
Today, America honors 29 Native Americans who, in a desperate hour, gave their country a service only they could give. In war, using their native language, they relayed secret messages that turned the course of battle. Today, we give these exceptional Marines the recognition they earned so long ago.
The Marine recruiters came out here, recruited 30 young Navajos, bussed them down to San Diego. They went through boot camp with flying colors. They said, "You're Marines now, ready to fight. But before you do that, we'd love for you to do something else. We'd love for you to develop a military code using your language." Navajo is not a written language. Therefore, we don't have words for letters like A, B, C, D, E, F. In the first battle, Guadalcanal, 3 weeks after the landing, General Vandergrift, commander of the 1st Marine Division, sent word back to the United States saying, "This Navajo code is terrific. The enemy never understood it. We don't understand it, but it works. Send us some more Navajos." The next battle, Bougainville, Navajo code was used. Cape Cluster, New Britain, Tarawa, Macon, Coatzacoalcos, Inuiatok, Saipan, Tinian, Guam, I was on Guam, Palalur. Over 600 code words were developed by the end of the war, 1945.
I feel honored that I am serving in the Marine Corps right now because I am following the footsteps as co-talkers as well as my grandfathers and those that have served before me.
I'm very proud to be a United States Marine, especially a Navajo Marine.
My fighting spirit as a Marine definitely aligns to my heritage in that being selfless and giving back to our country and wanting to fight for something greater than ourselves, it really ties into the beliefs of both the Marine Corps and the Navajo culture.
It's a legacy for Navajo and for Marines. And I like to feel very strongly that it's America's legacy.
That was cool.
Yeah, it makes me want to go watch Wind Talkers tonight.
Yeah, that was a good one. That's seems like very pretty. Shouldn't say very. Seems like a pretty accurate recollection of Type 2 of the events, whatever, of the entire process and how valuable those men were to our nation.
Yeah, I mean, without them, we definitely could not have accomplished what we accomplished.
Right now, it says that there's only 2 members, Navajo Code Talkers, are still living: Thomas Begay and Peter McDonald.
And those guys would have to be over 100 years old,
Probably.
unless they, if they were 15 or 16 and lied to get in, then they could possibly be just under 100. But my guess is they're going to be pushing 102, 103.
They probably didn't have records like we do. They probably didn't have to prove their age or anything.
That's true. Yeah, what a group of men. The service that they provided. I agree 100% with that video that without them, we probably would not have won some major battles. May not have won the war.
I'd like to think that we still could have won the war. Definitely not. The cost of life would have been astronomical.
Yeah.
Probably wouldn't have taken
Yeah.
Iwo Jima that day.
No, probably not. Iwo Jima was pretty brutal. I actually knew a man who passed away just a few months ago, actually, from there in Missouri, down in West Plains, about 3 hours from where I live now. And he was an interesting guy. He lied at 16 to get in the service. Went to boot camp, got out of boot camp, and the first place they sent him was Iwo Jima. He landed the second day of the battle, and he spent the entire rest of the war on Iwo Jima. And some of the things that he saw there as they fought their way to the top of the mountain, they were pretty brutal. He talked about it a little bit. He didn't share a whole lot, and he told me, he said, I'd share more. He said, but I honestly don't think that most civilians can handle knowing some of the things that we saw and did. And but just a whole different breed of man back then than what you typically see in a 16-year-old today.
Absolutely. I mean, our 16-year-olds today, most men, young men, 16 years old, probably couldn't even change a tire. To be honest with you.
You're not wrong. And back then they were fighting for the country, and a year later, well, I mean, even up until that point, it wasn't uncommon for a 16-year-old to be married and have kids. Even work a
True.
job or own their own farm by the time they're 18.
Um,
Or at least work part of daddy's farm. They might have a house on another part of daddy's property, and but they still worked and they took care of a family.
um. So I think it looks like everybody in chat agrees that we are on the brink of disaster with our youth. But speaking of the Marines and the Navajos, Chief Ira Hayes was a horse that I met down at the RPM Veterans Retreat, and that was the horse that made me decide I wanted to sell my most cherished Camaro Super Sport and purchase a horse. I told Riley, the leader of the ranch there, the manager or whatever, the operator. I told him, I said, I will own this horse before I die. He told me the price, and it's pretty hefty, but I'm gonna make it happen. Chief Ira Hayes was one of the men who raised the flag atop Iwo Jima, and he was a Navajo who was paraded around our country after VJ Day, after the victory band. kind of made an example of, and it kind of drove him to alcoholism and parody. I've got another one for us here to watch. And then, do you have anything ready for like the Navy?
I have some history of the Navy. I couldn't really find a video that was anywhere near as interesting as that one, but I did find some history to run through.
Okay, cool. This one's 7 minutes. I might not watch it quick. This is a long one. All right, cancel that. That's back half of our show. Let's see. So, oh, this is the video I thought was gonna play first. All right, here we go. This is the history of the Marines.
Since 1775, we have had one collective purpose: to fight and win our nation's battles. And for every battle, our collective determination is commemorated in the streamers atop our flag. These streamers are the colors of our fight. Our warfighting ethos determines who we inspire, how we train, and the way we fight. We've answered our nation's call wherever it has taken us, to every climb and place. Our ability to locate, close with, and destroy our enemies is legendary. We fought without wavering, leaving a legacy that spans centuries. Bound to each other by our cause that unites us, we remain the few who fight for our collective future. Happy birthday, Marines.
Heck yeah,
That was a good
that was
one.
pretty good. That's probably a recruitment video or something. Let me reach
Yeah,
my popcorn.
probably.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's a little bit about the United States Marine Corps. Birthday November 10, 1775. I'll give you a little something, whatever noise they make. Sounds like a cow falling.
What was it? Ooh
I think is what they do to each other. A little shit talk in case you recognize that.
I want some popcorn, solid.
All right, Cowboy, what do you got about this United States Navy, the mama of the Marine Corps?
So I'm actually learning a little bit about the Navy myself.
I think you got quieter.
Yeah, I had to mute something real quick. So the history of the Navy divides it into two different periods. The Old Navy, which was a small but pretty well respected force of sailing ships that were notable for innovation in the use of ironclads during the Civil War, and then the New Navy, which was the result of a modernization effort that started in the 1880s and eventually made us the largest navy in the world by 1943. So that's an interesting fact. We were the largest navy in the world in 1943, and I would not be surprised to find out that's still the truth. Um, the Navy claims October 13th, 1775 as the official date of establishment when Second Continental Congress passed a resolution that created the Continental Navy. With the end of the Revolutionary War, however, the Continental Navy was disbanded. And then, under the presidency of George Washington, merchant ships were being threatened by pirates in the Mediterranean from four North African states. And so this brought about the Naval Act of 1794, and that created the permanent standing U.S. Navy. The original six frigates were authorized as part of that act, so we only had six
Six.
when it first started. Six. Let that sink in. Six ships to patrol the world. And over the next 20 years, the Navy fought the French Republic Navy in the Quasi War, the Barbary States in the First and Second Barbary Wars, and the British in the War of 1812. And then after 1812, the U.S. Navy was at peace until the Mexican American War in 1846 and was primarily used to fight piracy in the Mediterranean and Caribbean. And then they also fought the slave trade off the coast of West Africa. Now, I'm kind of confused how the U.S. Navy was used to fight the slave trade if the U.S. was trading in slaves. I'm not sure exactly how that works. That might be something we would want to look at later.
Well, I can kind of give you a little insight.
Okay.
There was legal slave trade and illegal slave trade.
Ah, interesting.
They didn't want people going to Africa and kidnapping folks and throwing them on ships and bringing them over. However, uh, Africa had people that were already enslaved as criminal punishment, who were often given up by the wardens of their camps or whatever, prison, I guess they were held in, to avoid execution. They just sold them and made money. So they don't have to kill anybody, and they make a little bit of money. And then whoever buys the trades, obviously, or buys the slaves, obviously Europeans at the time, uh, get something out of it too.
Nice. Okay. Interesting insight. So it says here that the Naval Academy at Annapolis was founded in 1845. And then in 1861, of course, the U.S. Civil War began, and the Navy fought the small Confederate States Navy with both standard sailing ships and what was at the time modern ironclads. And so they used the ships to form a blockade that shut down the Confederacy civilian coastal shipping. But then after the Civil War, most of the Navy's ships were laid up in reserve, and by 1878, the Navy totaled just 6,000 men. Then in 1882, the Navy consisted of mostly outdated ships. And so over the next 10 years, Congress approved the building of multiple modern hull steel armored cruisers and battleships. And by around the start of the 20th century, we had moved from 12th place in 1870 to 5th place in terms of the number of ships. But most of the sailors in the U.S. Navy were foreigners, so that's an interesting fact. And then, after winning two major battles in the Spanish American War in 1898, the Navy continued building ships, and by the end of World War One, had more men and women in uniform than the British Royal Navy, which was that's a pretty big feat because the British Navy was huge. The British Navy was the reason that the British Empire was the size it was. So 1921, the Washington Naval Congress recognized the Navy as equal in ship size to the Royal Navy, and during the 20s and 30s, the Navy built several aircraft carriers and battleships. And then, of course, after Pearl Harbor, we were drawn into World War II, December 7th, 1941. And over the next 4 years, the U.S. Navy fought quite a few historic battles, including the Battle of Midway, the Battle of the Coral Sea, and then the Guadalcanal Campaign. And then the largest battle in naval history was the Battle of Leyte Gulf. Much of the Navy's activity concerned the support of landings, not only with island hopping campaigns in the Pacific, but also the European landings that included D-Day. And any of us that have ever seen any of the movies of D-Day, we know how many boats. It was just a almost
Tons of them,
unending
yeah.
line of boats. It was crazy, seeing the actual photos, but then you watch a movie that really shows what that looked like, and it's pretty mind blowing. I couldn't imagine having been a German soldier on the coast of Europe at D-Day and wake up that morning and look out and just see boats as far as you can see in every direction. That would have been more than a little concerning. So after World War II, the Navy was in the Cold War, 45 years. It participated in Korea
Well,
and
hold on.
Vietnam.
The invasion force at D-Day that you brought up was 7,000 ships and landing crafts with over 195,000 naval personnel. I can see you talking, but I can't hear you, buddy.
Oh, that's a lot. Just to put that in simple naval terms, or simple redneck terms,
A
that's a
lot.
whole lot of people. After World War II ended, we entered the Cold War period, and we participated in Korea and Vietnam. Um, but most of the Cold War was carried out by Ohio class submarines and Nimitz class aircraft carriers, and we were pretty much just a threat to the Russians and the rest of the world that, hey, if you want to get into a nuclear war, then we're ready to do that. Um, and then in 1978, the number of ships we had shrunk down to less than 400, many of them which were still leftovers from World War II 30 years before. And so Ronald Reagan instituted a program for a modern 600 ship Navy. And following the 1990 and 91 collapse of the Soviet Union, the Soviet Navy was divided among the former republics and had no funding. And that made us the undisputed naval superpower in the world with the ability to engage and project power in two simultaneous limited wars along second fronts. So we had the
Number
ability
one, baby.
yeah, we had the ability to split our navy in two and fight two different fronts, and we demonstrated that ability during the First and Second Persian Gulf Wars. And then in 2007, we reached the smallest fleet size with 274 ships since World War One. And former U.S. Navy admirals who headed the Naval Institute have since raised concerns about what they see as the ability to respond to aggressive moves by Iran and China. And we were overtaken by the Chinese People's Liberation Army Navy in terms of number of ships in 2020. So, we're no longer, as far as the number of ships active, we're not the largest navy in the world anymore. I do feel like we're probably still the most powerful navy in the world. And I quit talking to you. We definitely have the technology to be able to compete in war, and we still have a navy that we can split in two places. I personally hope that we don't. But that's just a little bit of what the Navy's been involved with since 1775 to the present. And hopefully, we don't have anything to add to that history in the near future.
Yeah, let's hope. I agree with you. I definitely, even though our numbers aren't the greatest, how many battles do you think Julius Caesar went into outnumbered? Probably a lot. And he always told his men, numbers are secondary to power.
I agree.
So I'm gonna go ahead and do the United States Army. I know the United States Army a little bit, right? Um,
Right.
our birthday is June 14th. That was of the year 1775 as well. Before the Marines, I will let everyone know. Actually, the United States Army shares a birthday with President Donald Trump. So the U.S. Army, obviously founded to fight the Redcoats, was formed from all the militias, and our first official general would be the George Washington. I don't feel like I have to go through all the Navy or excuse me, all the Army historical battles because I mean, honestly, Army, Marines, and Navy were all hand in hand basically since their inception. So they all share pretty much all the same battles. And the United States is everywhere. We can reach out and touch Antarctica if we want to. I truly believe that. I ain't scared of nobody, and I think we have the most prolific fighting force the world has ever seen.
I agree. We have a deadly army. I did send you a link, by the way, for the Air
Okay,
Force history video. We can check that out when we have time.
let it rip, buddy. Go ahead. Or do you want me to put it in the thing?
Yeah, it's a link to the video. You can share it or whatever, however you want to do that.
Oh, perfect. You're a cheater. I'll have you know.
I am.
So, the United States Army, we say "hua," so I'll give a "hua" to the boys out there that served with, and obviously the ones that didn't as well. The ones that didn't way outnumber the ones that did. But we have, we'll move on to the Air Force here. Do you want to do Space Force? Do we need to look at anything up for the Space Force? I mean,
Let me look and see if there is a history of Space Force. Pretty sure it's just going to say Donald Trump made it.
oh, hold on here. Try doing something that Twitch told me no bad, bad no. Sharon, if any of you guys would like to do a deeper dive into the history of the United States Army, there is a Army History and Heritage podcast. I think there's 2 or 3 seasons of it. I'm not gonna advertise what they're talking about, or not advertise. I'm not gonna just watch it if you care, watch it. If not, watch this video instead.
Hey, I'm Mason Farr, the Education Manager here at the National Veterans Memorial Museum. This month, we're celebrating 75 years of the United States Air Force. Follow along with us each week as we celebrate their birthday and 75 years of Air Force.
I will add in real quick, Mr. Farr, that the Air Force was a branch of the United States Army before the Air Force was formed. So up until 75 years ago, it was the United States Army Air Corps.
Force history.
Was still the Air Corps as a Pearl Harbor.
We honor the United States Air Force for 75 years of dedicated service as a branch of the military. But the story of the Air Force begins long before it became an official branch in 1947.
Cool.
The Air Force traces its lineage back to the first gliders and airplanes produced by
There's
Orville
you.
and Wilbur Wright in Dayton, Ohio. There are many doubts that these aircraft could be an effective weapon in the military. Major George Owen Squire, the executive officer to the Army Signal Corps, pushed to create the United States Air Force by convincing the Army Signal Corps commander to establish the first heavier-than-air unit in 1907. Aircrew and pilots were pioneers in this new endeavor, and it was a dangerous profession. Lieutenant Thomas Selfridge was the first military member killed in an aircraft crash on September 17, 1908. Death during training and practice was not uncommon, but the perseverance of these airmen pushed the boundaries of this new branch. Flying aces like Eddie Rickenbacker captured the imagination of the American public, and with 26 enemy planes shot down, proved the worth of aerial combat. The years between World War I and World War II saw even greater advances in aircraft technology, with the first all-metal aircraft and monowing designs replacing the canvas and cloth biplanes. Bombing crews could strike directly at enemy production facilities, fighter pilots flew more powerful and complicated machines, and ground crews were required to keep both in operational shape. The creation of the Army Air Forces in 1941 made the Air Force its own separate branch within the Army and gave it the ability to pursue its own needs. During this time, the military began to see an expansion of roles for African Americans and women. The Tuskegee Airmen became the first African American military aviators when the 99th Pursuit Squadron was formed on March 19, 1941. The following year, the
Beat Shield, do you know where the Tuskegee Airmen trained at?
first women began flying for the military, forming the Women Air Force Service Pilots in 1943. On September 18, 1947, the United States Air Force was formally established as its own independent branch of the military. With the new title, the innovation that defined the Air Forces for the previous half-century did not stop. Over the years, air-to-air refueling was perfected, while radar, intelligence, and missile technology changed the working landscape for those serving in the Air Force. Thanks to the professionalism and dedication of all our members, no U.S. service member has been attacked by enemy aircraft since 1953. As we celebrate the Air Force's 75th birthday, let us remember where we came from to inspire us to reach even greater heights.
We hope you enjoyed learning more about the United States Air Force.
Yeah, whatever, dude. Cool. That was a good video for sure. Good video for sure.
I sent you a Space Force video too. That one looked pretty good. I previewed it a little bit.
So I asked Meat Shield if he knew where the Tuskegee Airmen trained at, and there was an Army Air Corps training facility in our state of Illinois known as the Chanute Field at the time, and that is now Rantoul, Illinois. It's down by Champaign. Where it all started for them.
Subgroup of men there too. I actually got to meet one of them at Oshkosh last year. Got to shake his hand. Can't remember how old he is now. I think he was like 101, and you know, had people helping him everywhere he went. But it was really neat to meet him, shake his hand.
But yeah, hey, we just got a VIP, Dustin 0311. For any Marines out there, that's the infantry tag 0311. What's up, brother? I love you, man. Good hearing from you. I hope you're doing well and all the things. Tell us something about you. You missed a lot. You gotta rewatch the first hour of this episode. Talked a lot about the veterans camp that I tried. I texted you a few things about it. It was awesome. Definitely something you or have to take part of next year or maybe this fall. Yes, sir. Meat Shield. That is the Dustin you know.
Yeah, I don't know Dustin, but I agree with him when it comes to you taking part in it. I think you'll find it something that you not only thoroughly enjoy, but you take something away that's useful for the rest of your life.
It would benefit Dustin very well. I did not know how much it was going to benefit me when I went, and Dustin knows the type of person I am. We went to college together. We lived in the same area for several years. We've always kept up. I've drove to Texas to see his wedding. Actually, this hair right here, the last time I got this baby cut was his wedding day. So yeah, it's a good thing that he's here. I really appreciate him checking in. But you do have a lot, and there's a lot of things that's going to interest you at this camp. I'm mandate. You got to go. I'm going every one they have for the rest of my life. I'm gonna be there. So after we're done, I will. This video should be on Twitch on this channel for what is it? I think 7 days or something.
7 or 14.
Yeah, whatever it is. And after that, I will download it and put it up on YouTube for our channel. Watch it. But you got to see the first hour. It's frozen. Is it frozen for everybody, or you just got crap internet?
Playing for me.
Heat shield. 80. Somebody. Are we good? Okay, Meat says it's fine. Solid says it's fine. Solid's still here? That's the longest you've been quiet since the day I met you. Heck yeah. Man, I wish our buddy Carolina Picker was in here for Coast Guard. I'm not gonna do it, to be honest with you. I don't know enough about the Coast Guard. I mean, I can Google it and read it off a page like anybody else could do, but that's not what we're here for. We're not here to Google things together and read to people. So, maybe an episode in the future, an actual former Coast Guardsman can come in and educate us about the Coast Guard a little bit.
Right. I did send you the Space Force video. That one actually looks like it was pretty promising.
Oh, all right. Well, let me check my Discord here. Yep, there it is right there. Cool. I've never seen this. I have no idea what this is about. Oh, I'm watching it without you guys.
Say live on the air what I think it's about. Mississippi, did you lose a bet?
Why are you in Mississippi? Hot and humid. Just Star Wars vid. Watch the origins of the U.S. Space Force. I'm kind of excited about this one. This was founded under Trump, right?
Yep.
Today, space is essential not only to our way of life, it's absolutely critical to the modern way of war. GPS, ATMs, cell phones, gas pumps, traffic lights, power grids, guided missiles, surveillance, RPAs, ground combat control. There's no such thing as a day without space operations. You just don't see them. Earth is only half the battle. Cyber attacks and jamming of our satellites. Microsatellites that can create a debris field. At 17,000 miles an hour, a piece of metal the size of a coin can be weaponized. Now is the time for a military branch with a clear and singular focus on space. A military branch that protects the hopes and dreams of America and our way of life as the space domain becomes more and more contested. It's time for another giant leap. The United States Space Force is being built from the brightest minds across the space operations of the Air Force, our joint services, and the private sector. We aren't just getting ready for the near future, we're getting ready for the 22nd century. When our enemies ask, what if? We will have an answer. when foreign powers can build bases on the dark side of the moon, when private companies are inventing a new economy beyond our planet, we need to stay one step ahead of the future. And the future is where we'll make history. We will fight in an environment with no up or down, no left or right, where there are no borders and nowhere to hide. Our Space Force is defending our country, here on Earth and wherever our mission takes us. As commerce and exploration expand, we will imagine the unimaginable, anticipate the inconceivable, and prepare for the impossible. We won't just think outside the box. We'll think outside the atmosphere, in one of the most challenging environments ever known.
Oh, snap.
That puts Space Force in a different perspective for me. As much as I've laughed and joked about it since they made it, like it makes a lot more sense when you start thinking about all the things that controls.
Yeah, I've never thought it was a joke. I've definitely there's actually a Netflix. It's a comedy about it, about the Space Force, but really, and they make fun of like certain situations or like how it got formed and all that stuff. Like, but absolutely. I mean, how long have we counted on GPS as a people?
Yep. Yep, that definitely puts it in a little bit different perspective for sure, because now you're sitting there, you're going, okay, so they're not just talking about taking over the moon or having spaceship battles. They're talking about things that we deal with and depend on right now that actually are controlled perspective. I mean, look at Starlink.
That's what I was getting ready
Take
to
out
say.
Starlink, you take out a huge portion of internet, and you can't tell me, nobody will ever convince me that those Starlink satellites only provide internet service for the people who pay for Starlink. They provide some other stuff somewhere, they are.
Yeah, absolutely. They a lot of if you look at there's what's that app for your phone? It's like Stargazer or you know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, yeah. The one my wife has that actually, where you can point it at the stars and it shows you the stars and planets in its view.
Yeah, that one. Like if you look up, it shows you all the satellites and stuff, and 9 out of 10 of them are
Yep.
named Starlink something. And if NASA's got grants and contracts with SpaceX, let's be honest, right? For Starlink satellites, if our taxpayer money is going to Starlink, we're using pardon me, we're using it for something private, not just public for internet and whatever.
Oh yeah, yeah. Most and I mean, I don't know. Space is a place that we've all been curious about. I think I know when I was a kid, watching. And I remember things like the Challenger and stuff like that, and watching the space shuttles. That was always a big deal when the space shuttle did make it back home safely. And now, you got starships or what is it? Not Starlink, SpaceX rockets that can take off, go to space, come back, and then land themselves on their own paths. They don't even have to recover the pieces out of the ocean anymore. I mean, technology has changed so much since we were kids that I mean, I don't know. I think about folks that like my great grandfather who were born at the turn of the century, and they watched things like the telephone become mainstream, indoor plumbing became mainstream, owning a car became a thing for the first time, flight became a thing when he was a kid for the first time, and from the time flight became a thing to here we are 120 years later, and we're talking about sending a fighting force to space. That's pretty cool.
Indeed. Okay, so what I've done here is I've turned off the stream on my phone. That's usually how I watch chat. Is I put my phone on a little thing over here to the side. Oh yeah, check out my phone thing too. I got some, what do you call that? Like not experimental things.
Samples.
Yeah, samples. I got some samples, and so that was one of them is the iPhone cover. So they're supposed to have a QR code down there to where you could just scan it and it'll take you to my fourth wall shop, which actually, I can go ahead. my Firefox share thing is working. I'm gonna go to fourth wall, and I'm gonna show you guys. Whenever you go to my fourth wall, what happens? No, I'm not. I clicked the wrong button. Fourth wall, patriotic veteran. Not good.
I love it when a plan comes together.
Yeah, I'm doing real good over here. I've never been to my website as a guest, I guess. Log in, search. Wait. Sign in, maybe. Nope, that's not the right password. Ah, there we go. Gotta figure out my store from the outside. Here we go. Let's guest star with, it does with video, but whatever. So anyways, when you go to my fourth wall site, and this is just a site, it's supposed to be a shop, to be honest with you guys, but I've kind of used it to host all of my things. So obviously you've got the products that turned out good I left on there. I'm going to add QR codes to this stuff, and like I said, half of everything. All I did was whatever it cost me, I doubled the price, and half of that price goes straight to my American Legion. Obviously excluding your shipping costs and all that stuff. But yeah, so here's the products, but not just the products. So we got the Twitch channel, Patriotic Veteran on Twitch and YouTube, Patriot View on Twitch and YouTube, and Patriot View, we have a website. So it's got the links to all this, and then the Military One Source. It's got tons and tons of information and resources for veterans. It can be overwhelming if you want help navigating anything as a veteran. Reach out, or if you're a civilian and know a veteran who wants some information, reach out. Facebook, right there, Patriot View on Facebook. Should take you. My internet's going pretty slow. I'm streaming and uploading a video, so yeah, just click message right there. I check them. They come up on my phone, and we can get you any resources anybody needs for any of this stuff. And oh, that was a cool welcome home. That was PFC. Robert Bryant. They recovered his body overseas and brought it home, and he was from Bloomington, Illinois. So he flew into Chicago Midway, and they had a procession the entire way down I-55 to Bloomington. That was neat. But yeah, so check out Fourth Wall, check out our Facebook, all the things. Anything you or your friends may need to know, we'll figure it out together, I promise. You got anything else for the moment, Cowboy, or you want to take a little break here? I need to empty the bucket again. I think we could maybe take a little break and then watch that video's at 93%, the one I want everyone to see. So we have to hang on for another, like, it says 13 minutes.
We can do the break and come back and talk for a few minutes, and then it should be good.
Sounds good. Let's find a little break video here. Oh, I am in creator dashboard now. Across my channel. I want to search YouTube. Just find us a video. Find something you find interesting.
I got you. Give me just a minute.
Shoot me the link there. That's all. Oh, I guess we can go back to our regular screen for right now, huh? Gotta reload you. There you are.
There you go. There's 17 minutes of Coast Guard stuff. That might be pretty interesting, actually.
Well, we're not gonna watch the whole thing, but we can definitely start it.
The sweetest.
All right. Well, while we watch this Coast Guard video,
We have a.
of course, we have to watch an ad first. I'll do the ad without you guys. You'll skip over there, and here we are.
To the graveyard.
We're gonna take a little break, and I'm gonna empty the bucket. Y'all watch this Coast Guard video, and we'll be back to show you the home recited by Bob.
But for the team of elite Coast Guard pilots, flight mechanics, and rescue swimmers, they're the ones that are called upon to respond in the most extreme.
Oh, hold on. I realized what I did now. I'm supposed to copy this link and put it in here so we can actually not be on camera. We'll get her here eventually. I have to go to the break screen to edit it. That's what messes me up.
Cody broke the screen.
Well, you know, if I had a proper
Welcome to the
production
graveyard of the Atlantic. Located in the
brought out
Outer
the-
Banks of North Carolina, these
There it is.
home to over 3,000 shipwrecks.
I want to fast forward to nothing else.
In severe weather conditions. But for the team of elite Coast Guard pilots, flight mechanics,
Reload something else. Now go to break screen. There it is. Now it loaded with
welcome to the
thing away.
graveyard of the Atlantic.
Nope,
Located in
there's
the
the
Outer
thing.
Banks of North Carolina,
Oh,
these
man.
treacherous waters are home to over
All right,
3,000
well, we're gonna take a break.
shipwrecks and have
Enjoy
claimed
the Coast
numerous
Guard video,
lives
guys.
due to the strong winds and severe weather conditions.
We'll be right
But for the
back.
team of elite Coast Guard pilots, flight mechanics, and rescue swimmers, they're the ones that are called upon to respond in the most extreme and deadly situations. Today, I'll be taking on the ultimate challenge, stranded out in the middle of the ocean to experience getting rescued by the United States Coast Guard.
Helicopter 6004, ops normal, position 3545, decimal 907. 3, 2, 1.
I'm Lieutenant James Gardner. I'm a helicopter pilot at Coast Guard Air Station Elizabeth City. Our goal here is to provide aviation support for the Coast Guard's varying missions. We fly with a crew of 4, 2 pilots, a flight mechanic, and rescue swimmer, and we have crews here on base 24/7 ready to respond for distress. Being located near what's known as the graveyard of the Atlantic, we respond to a variety of different types of cases. Some of those could be rescuing someone from a boat that's sinking, a long-range medical evacuation, and even hurricane response. Every year, our unit responds to about 300 search and rescue cases. Today, we're excited to have Sam come out and see how we train and simulate these rescues.
So this is quite the beast of a helicopter, and to my understanding, it's both the largest and most equipped helicopter the Coast Guard flies.
That's correct. This is the Sikorsky's MH-60. The version you're looking at today is the T model, which has a full glass cockpit display. It's the most capable helicopter we have in regards to on-scene endurance and cargo carrying capacity. It's configured specifically for search and rescue missions, law enforcement, and aids to navigation for our mariners out there.
Now, I heard you guys sometimes conduct search and rescue operations as far out as Bermuda, which is like 600, 700 miles away from where we are in Elizabeth City. How's this helicopter able to do that?
One thing that's different with this 60 compared to others is that it's configured to carry 6,000 pounds of fuel. We have 3 external fuel tanks. You can see we have an 80-gallon external fuel tank on the right-hand side and 2 120s on the left. That can extend our fuel endurance up to 5 hours.
So is that not scary, flying hundreds of miles out into the ocean in just a helicopter?
It can be, but I gotta say, the C-130 crews are our most valuable asset that we have going out there with us. We can ask them to fly different altitudes to test our tailwind, which will maximize our range. They're also on-scene first, which can minimize our on-scene time and minimize our fuel burn ultimately.
So how does the MH-60 handle the extreme weather conditions that I'm sure are thrown at you guys when you're conducting your search and rescue?
I gotta say, one of the most valuable things that we have to allow us the confidence to fly in those conditions is a great maintenance program. Our flight mechanics are not only conducting the rescues in the back, they're turning wrenches 24/7 to make sure that we're able to operate near the limits. For us, we also have in the front a digital automatic flight control computer, which will help augment the pilot controls to maintain a stable hover.
Now, from up here, you really can't see what's going on underneath you, so I imagine you're relying on your crew in the back to give you instructions. What's that process like?
Our flight mechanics are our eyes and ears. They do an incredible job conning us into precise, confined areas. As you'll see today, we have a specific flow and cadence that we follow so that we can effect a rescue.
So what is the worst weather and lowest altitude you guys can safely operate in?
So I gotta say, the most critical phase of flight that we operate in is when we don't have visual with the water above 300 feet. So essentially, based off of the clouds and the visibility, we're flying through them. And to get down, we can program what's called a manual approach to a coupled hover. This is also known as a match. This will give the pilot lateral and vertical guidance down to the surface of the water so that we can effect a rescue VMC.
Now, as Lieutenant Gardner mentioned, the typical search and rescue mission includes 4 total crew members. Your 2 pilots up front, the rescue swimmer, and the flight mechanic, who's qualified as part of the flight crew to help manage the hoist system that's used to recover survivors from the water. This position is one of the most vital because the flight mechanic is the one communicating with both the pilots and the rescue swimmer to ensure everything is operating smoothly and safely.
So your job must be incredibly hectic, having to keep your head on a swivel in what I imagine is a very stressful situation. What's the secret to doing it successfully?
Yeah, you're right. Stress is inevitable. It's part of the job. But the same tools that we use to manage that stress are also what make us so successful. Our constant training, our teamwork, and extreme trust in one another.
Now, I'm super excited to get rescued here in a little bit. A little nervous for sure, but I know you're going to be in charge of pretty much my safety. So can you walk me through what that evolution looks like?
Sure. So in aviation, everything starts and ends with a checklist. So we'll talk about what hoist we want to conduct, what gear we're going to use, and where we're going to position ourselves. From there, the motion gets going. We put ourselves into the right position, get the gear ready to go out the door, and we'll lower the gear and the swimmer into that hoisting area to the survivors. From there, swimmer does his magic, gets everybody ready to come back up, signals that he's good to go, bring him up, rinse and repeat until everyone's in the helicopter.
Now, the final piece of the rescue crew is, of course, the rescue swimmer. Now, I could do an entire video on the intense physical training and bravery of all those who make it through rescue swimmer qualification, because it's pretty amazing. The 24-week training program has one of the highest attrition rates of any military training pipeline, with around 80% of candidates washing out. In other words, these individuals are the best of the best.
Hey, welcome Sam to Air Station Elizabeth City, and this is the Rescue Swimmer Shop.
Thank you. I mean, I think everyone knows how incredible you guys are, but I'm not sure everyone's aware of how intense the training is to actually even be qualified to be a rescue swimmer. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So it is very intense. It is a 6-month-long training course where we're working out Monday through Friday, starting early in the morning, land workouts, moving on to the pool, quick lunch break, and then more pool workouts in the afternoon. And we're trained for desperate situations where people need help, and we're trained to handle.
All right. I'm back. Cowboy said he's not sitting down yet, so we'll wait till he pops into voice here and hollers at me.
I'm back.
Oh, here we are. How was your break?
I feel much better.
Heck yeah.
30 pounds lighter, not near as waterlogged.
Thing video still hasn't uploaded yet. I don't know why it's taking so long.
Where are you at now?
It says 11 minutes again.
Dang. If I was there, I'd say just throw it on the computer, then throw it from the computer to my phone, and I'd upload it with my phone. But I don't know if that'd be any better. If you were here, you could just plug it to my computer.
Got better internet.
You have any other apps open on your phone, GPS or anything like that? Is the location still turned on? I know you said you turned that on the other day.
Turn what on?
Location services. You said you were trying to get somewhere. You need a location services turned on.
Got tons of apps open. Close them all.
Yeah, don't close your upload.
I did. Just jumped it to 93% when I reopened it. 1 minute left. 94. Oh yeah.
Clickety click.
Well, tell us about some upcoming camps at RPM while we wait for this to go. We're over 2 hours, so we've met our quota for the year.
All right, let me get back to that page on my computer here.
I'm excited to watch this video together.
Had somebody come in there. All right, so camps. Let's see. Camps. All right, June 7th to the 27th, RPM has a Horseman Craft Summer Camp And so this is going to be a really interesting camp for young men. RPM was founded in 2023 in order to use the influence of animals, especially horses, to help young men find direction, identity, and hope in life. And the Horseman Summer Camp is a summer experience designed to challenge the young guys physically, mentally, and spiritually. And the camp combines hands on horsemanship along with biblical teaching, and it fosters personal growth as well as a deeper relationship with God. They'll learn the art of horsemanship from foundation skills like grooming and leading to more advanced tasks of riding and even being given a brand new colt to start and train. And through the lessons, they'll not only build confidence and responsibility, but they'll be learning some important life skills like patience, perseverance, and leadership. And I'm pretty sure that after attending the veterans camp, you can attest to the benefit of the patience part of that. You definitely learn some patience working with a horse. And I remember watching you watch Riley start that new colt, and it was pretty amazing what he did with that horse, wasn't it?
It was fantastic. I mean, so he had took a horse, and his name was Chief Ira Hayes. I told you a little bit about him earlier. This horse is 2 years old and had never been roped, had never been saddled, had never been bridled, had never been nothing. So what they would call unstarted. Basically, his only human contact is walking through the field, you know, touching him, petting him, feeding him, uh, moving him from pasture to pasture, whatever. And so we went out there to the field, and it was supposed to be, I guess not supposed to be. We expected it to be a half an hour extravaganza trying to, get this young fella to fit himself. But is a colt an uncut horse or a cut horse?
Colt is uncut, gelding is cut.
Okay, so he's still a colt because he is currently uncut. His
Yeah.
his grandpa is some super expensive famous horse, like $174,000. I think his grandfather sold for. But Chief Ira Hayes got sick when he was a young boy, and his growth has now been stunted. He was the largest, fastest growing colt of his brood. What do they call that?
Herd.
Herd. Okay. And so he started off very promising, which led everyone to believe he was going to be like his grandpa. But so I think Riley kind of thought that he was just maybe going to be a working horse, probably not going to have a whole much of a future, probably just sell him. And so we went out to the field to grab him, and he actually let Riley walk right up to him, put a rope over his head, and he walked right to the barn. And uh, we got him in the corral, which is like where they train and show horses for auctions and stuff like that. Um, he just it's hard to explain to someone who wasn't there, but he was 100% attentive, 100% responsive, and I watched this man take a horse in an hour and about 15 minutes from only ever living in a pasture to he had saddled in and was sitting on him, and there was no violence, there was no, he didn't buck him off, he wasn't a bucking bronco, none of that stuff, and it was just an amazing thing, and I could see how much the trainer and the horse were learning from each other and the same thing, and it was, as a bystander, it was super rewarding. I couldn't imagine being Riley and actually being the guy to, the first foot in the saddle and the stirrup, and standing on that horse, how much reward he gets from that. And that's kind of what I tell everybody, like, it was a transformative experience. These horses, they're first, they're huge, right? A small horse is 800 pounds, and they're smart, and they 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 teach you patience because you can't push a horse around. If my dog takes a crap on a carpet or whatever, you go over there and you show him what he did wrong, and you smack him and say, no, bad, don't do it, whatever. You don't do that to a horse because he'll knock your ass out. And I actually, Riley can attest to that too. He got kicked in the back of the head whenever he was younger, or whatever. And I've been bucked off before, but actually, Riley did he startled Chief Ira Hayes a little bit, and he did catch a hoof. He had his hand on the side like this, and the hoof hit right here, so it might have dislocated his finger. His finger is about twice the size of a normal, and also his ribs are a little bit bruised. But other than one little kick, and that was kind of his fault. He walked behind him and slapped his rope up against his legs and stuff, and the horse got a little excited, and he didn't let go of his lead, so the horse couldn't get away from him. So if you can't escape, you defend, and that's kind of the way that went down. But other than that one little kick, and I mean he didn't fall over or he wasn't bleeding or in pain or nothing like that. It was just a little kick. But yeah, watching those two bond in just a short hour and 15 minutes, that right. First of all, it's a testament. It's a testament to Riley's skill, and secondly, it's a testament to how much patience an 800-pound animal is going to teach you.
Yep, very, very true. Not just patience, but it teaches you about yourself. You learn about yourself when you're dealing with an animal, or even just watching somebody else deal with an animal like that. And it's incredible. What Riley's always been good at is taking those lessons from that horse and transferring those over to life experience and saying, hey, look, when you're facing a situation in your life that makes you feel like this is the same way that I'm dealing with this horse is the same way that you need to deal with that situation. He's really good at that, is he not?
Uh, yeah, that's a very good point. I don't know why. I saw you lead me into this the first time, and I got sidetracked. Thanks for leading me back to it. So as he is teaching this horse that, hey, I am human, I am okay. I, we're here to serve each other. The lessons that he was teaching, man, so hard to put in words. He the entire time he was literally breaking this young colt. He was taking this young colt from a pasture lifestyle to a servant lifestyle, and uh,
That is a good way to put that.
and so many veterans have been out to pasture for so long, and um, not knowing a purpose or seeing any sort of patience in other people or with our VA system or with our government or with our loved ones. I mean, to be honest, and watching Riley, he was literally putting into action his words in front of me. So he was saying, hey, look, this horse is a little bit skittish. You know, if I continue to press him, if I continue to push him and try to force him to do what I want, he's going to revolt. He's going to rebel against me. And he was like, horses are a lot like humans, coming at him, being the angriest and being the stubbornest and the sternest and the loudest doesn't make you the best teacher. It doesn't make you better than anybody. It doesn't even make you important at all. Because whenever a human tries that with a horse, the horse is going to win every time. You will not pull a horse in the direction that horse does not want to go. You have to be patient enough to find a way to show that horse, you can trust me, follow me here. And if you do that, that horse eventually will do it. And Riley was able to make that happen in a short hour and a half. But uh, a lot of lessons that we learn in lives, especially veterans, with all of the benefits that are available to us and our treatment, our education, our healthcare, all the things. A lot of it, we just look at it and we're like, man, this is an insurmountable task. This is a mountain I cannot climb. I cannot climb this by myself. And Riley was teaching us that we can do it. And not only was he teaching it, he was showing us in person right now while he was doing it, and being able to bridge the gap between education and uh, action. He did that simultaneously. He was educating us and putting his lessons into action in front of our faces. It was amazing.
I agree 100%. And I like, the point that you made about he took the horse from a pasture lifestyle to a servant lifestyle. And basically, he taught the horse not just to do what he wanted him to do, but at the end of it, the horse wanted to do what Riley wanted to do. He had learned to trust him. He'd learned to have some faith in him. And I think a lot of veterans feel that need too. One thing that you guys have that most people don't understand is a sense of brotherhood, of belonging to something, of having a purpose in life. And when you're with your brothers and you're fighting for that purpose, the plan's pretty simple and laid out in front of you. Objective A, we capture that. Objective B, we capture that. But then when you come home and you're no longer part of that fighting unit, and you're like, okay, well, what next? Where do I go from here? And when you find someone like Riley, or you find something like they have, it offers some people that sense of purpose that they've been looking for. For me, my sense of purpose was working with the Sons of the American Legion and working with the Combat Vets Motorcycle Association and finding ways that I could be helpful in Memphis. And when I moved from Memphis up here, now I'm able to help Riley, and that's my sense of purpose. That's my direction and my objective. And I think that a lot of veterans struggle with that when they get out of the service. It's not that they don't want to be part of society. They just don't know how, because they don't have an objective to reach in being part of society. And I think that's one thing that civilian society should be mindful of, and that we should strive to make objectives available to veterans. If we give you guys something that you want to fight for, you'll fight for it with everything in you. But if we continue to ignore, and, well, they'll be okay. Well, oh, he just wants attention, or, oh, he's just doing his thing. Maybe he just needs an objective. Maybe we need to open our eyes to the fact that those around us want something to accomplish in life, if that makes sense.
It absolutely does. It sucks. I think Dustin's not here right now, but he was probably our only veteran viewer. But regardless, anybody who Dustin or anybody else who watches this after, something that I've said on several episodes of Page Review, something I've said to all of my friends and loved ones, is that I had I felt when I got out of the military at 23 years old, I had I felt that I had accomplished the greatest thing I will ever accomplish by the age of 23. And so the rest of my life I viewed it as a downfall. The rest of my life is simply a slope deeper into a depression. And I'm not talking about a depression about medicine or psych doctors. I'm not talking about clinical depression. I'm talking about a depression, like uh, a hole.
Just a constant rut.
Yeah, and where I was in my life when I went down here to this camp, and then where I am now. Actually, I told your brother Justin. I told your brother Justin this even before I told my wife. Um, I can see at that place the positive that they do, the positive that they're going to do, and I can see that I have more to accomplish. There is more servitude for me. I'm not done. I'm not in a rut. I simply just have to put it in 4-wheel drive and get shit moving. I, and now I have got another goal. I have found another purpose, and I can go there and I can give um not only give myself some relief and some stability in animals. I can give the animals a good trainer. They don't have to go to some guy who's gonna hit them with a whip or a leash to make them do what they want. I can also be a leader of men, and that really is. I mean, anybody who knows me in the real world, I'm always in the front. I'm always. I don't know if it's by choice or just by vote of, but even with video games, hey, what do you guys want to play? I don't know. Bet, what do you want to play? And
Always.
sorry, go ahead.
No, I was agreeing with you always. You and my brother pointed that out about you too after you left. He told me on the phone. He goes, I don't know what you know about that guy as far as his military service. He said, but if he wasn't a leader, it was by choice. He said that guy has some incredible leadership qualities about him. Whether he's ever put them into action or not, I don't know. But he said if he ever does, he'll be a force to be reckoned with that nobody can stop.
Well, that's amazing, and I appreciate your brother's kind words on that, and thank you for sharing those. But I was able to go down there, and like I said, it has completely transformed my life. A lot of my friends, a lot of my closest friends, are going to be severely disappointed that I'm not going to be sitting around the bonfire drinking 24 beers every night anymore. A lot of my friends are going to be disappointed that I don't want to whatever the things we do. But my goal now is to basically sell everything I own and invest in at minimum horses, maybe a ranch, maybe part of that ranch, maybe my own ranch. I don't know, but that's such a big picture. I see what they want down there. I see where they're going down there, and they're helping young boys transition into young men. 12, 14-year-old boys that might have been raised with parents who sit on the couch watch Instagram, or raised by a single parent, male or female, whatever. And this place it's kind of like a little turn back in time. It doesn't matter if you check your phone. It doesn't matter. Dude, I didn't I play a game on my phone every day. Every day I'll get on there and I'll do 3 or 4 tasks on my game. I'm like, at lunchtime, I'm like, oh, hold on, honey, I gotta go do my train. She's like, all right, babe, go do your trains. And like everybody knows that's part of it. Like I gotta do my ships. I gotta do my trains. I didn't even do it. I don't even care. There's such a big horizon down there, in that place that it's just, it will simply, it pulls at you. And I felt peace for 4 days. I felt calm. I was patient with my wife, patient with my children, and it was all taught to me by that horse Basil. Because for the first time, I was up against a force that I could not push or force into something that I wanted, which usually I pretty much can. I mean, if I put my heart and mind to something, I can figure out a way to make you do what I want. And that's not a good way of life. Is it gratifying? Sure, in the moment it's gratifying. Yeah, I'm powerful. Look at me, big and tough and stubborn or whatever. But the results I achieved with those horses through patience and kindness and I'll call it pressure, right? Not force, pressure. It literally. My wife told me, like, when we were packing up the camper, she's like, I've never seen you smile 4 days in a row. And it's an amazing thing. Hey, I got news. You want to hear the news?
It's done.
It's done. So
your wife told me, as y'all were packing up to leave, she looked at me and she said, he has changed more in the last 4 days than he has the last 19 years. I've never seen him this light. That was her words to me.
Well, I guess now's the true test to see if I'm a leader of men or not. Can I lead my family to a better place in a better way? It's time to put up or shut up, I've never been good at being a follower, so. You want to watch this video, or you want to keep talking about me?
Let's do the video and then circle back to what we felt after we heard Bob say this fall for the first time. You guys, get your Kleenex ready. You're going to need it.
Yeah, this is a good one. So you're going to have to bear with me because I'm going to have to get the link, copy it, put it back in our break screen. So you're going to jump to the break video we just watched about the Coast Guard. But then I will be able to place the link and refresh the page, and it will come up as this video. So give me 1 moment here. I'm going to mute my mic.
Welcome to the Graveyard of the Atlantic, located in the Outer Banks of North Carolina.
He was getting old and paunchy, and his hair was falling fast as he sat around the Legion telling stories of the past about a war that he had once fought in and the deeds that he had done, and then his exploits with his buddies. They were heroes, every one. And though sometimes to his neighbors his tales became a joke, his buddies listened quietly, for they knew whereof he spoke. But we'll hear his tales no longer, for old Joe has passed away. And the country is a little poorer, because a veteran died today. He won't be mourned by many, just his children and his wife, for he led an ordinary, quiet sort of life. He held a job and raised a family, going quietly on his way, and the world won't note his passing, though a veteran died today. Now when politicians leave this earth, their bodies lie in state, and thousands note their passing and proclaim that they were great. The papers tell of their life stories from the days when they were young, but the passing of a veteran goes unnoticed and unsung. Is it the greatest contribution to the welfare of our land? Some guy that breaks his promise and cons his fellow man? Or the ordinary fellow who in times of war and strife goes off to serve his country and offers up his life. Now, the politician's stipend and the style in which he lives is often disproportionate to the service that he gives, while the ordinary veteran who offered up his all is paid off with a medal and perhaps a pension small. It's not the politicians with their compromised employees that want for us the freedoms that this country now enjoys. So, should you find yourself surrounded by your enemies at hand, would you really want some cop-out with his ever-muffling stand? Or would you want a veteran, his country, his home, his kin, just an ordinary veteran that would fight until the end? Now, he was just a common veteran, and his ranks are growing thin. But his presence should remind us that we may need his likes again. For when the countries are in conflict, we find the veterans' part is to clean up all the troubles that the politicians start. So if we cannot give him honor while he's here to hear the praise, then let's just give him homage at the ending of his days. Perhaps just a simple headline in the papers that might say, "Our country is in mourning. A veteran died today."
Surprise!
Back. So,
joke's on you guys. We're here together.
Cody had so much fun coming down. Talk to me. Coming back and hanging out with him in Illinois. So here we are.
Indeed, here we are.
I don't think they can hear. I'm hearing me.
You should.
There
yeah,
we go.
Yeah, you're
Now
kicking
we're good.
up. You're picking
So,
up.
yeah. Cody and Cowboy. Double trip.
Yeah.
Yeah, me. You did know you got 9 holes in with us.
Yeah, we got to go golfing with the meat shield there. I tried getting Blue Falcon to come drag racing with us today, but he couldn't make it happen. So
Said his dress wasn't in.
that makes sense. Probably had to get it resized. That's it. We just wanted to get together. We produced the episode from opposite sides of the room. He's been up here for 4 days now, 5 days.
Oh, today's Saturday, 6 days.
Okay. And we've been doing some work on the house, trying to help me get packed up and the house sealed up and everything. I'm working on getting out of here for real. I'm making a life change. I'm leaving. This has been episode 32 or 33. I think it might be 33. I know I dropped a couple. I know I did a 31. I can't find it nowhere. I didn't put it up to YouTube. Obviously it dropped off of Twitch by now. Yeah, this is it. So everybody, thanks for checking in.
There will be more in the future, and they will come to you from RPM Ranch.
Yep, we'll definitely do episodes from the ranch down there.
Get some interviews, Riley and Justin.
Yep, that'd be amazing.
That'd
I'd
be cool.
like to get Bob and Larry maybe.
Oh man,
they're only a short hour and 15-minute drive from my house, so not unquestionable to get an interview with them.
Maybe when.
Yep, yeah, that'd be good. That'd be good for sure. But I'll be making trips back and forth to Missouri. I would say at least once a month for the next year. That's where I belong for a little bit. I don't know what's after that, but current Illinois politics and current Illinois governor, I'm not staying here. On top of that, obviously we have a change in purpose. Like I said, I found something that makes me happy. I found something that brings me satisfaction, and that's what I'm going to pursue. I think my wife and kid are excited for the new change, and down there and BFE, Missouri, down by Cowboy and his cronies.
You know, man, I've known you 5 years.
Yep.
That out at the races. The other time we've ever faced to we have gamed together, just together. Spent a lot of time. I honestly, hours.
Hundreds, man. Hundreds.
Probably thousands.
Maybe.
Did you figure if there for a year or more, 6 or 8?
Hey,
Yeah.
that's 300 days. that's, that's 1,800 hours.
Yeah.
I have more
Thousands.
time. I have more time talking to you than I do flying airplanes.
Yeah.
That's saying something. And the change that I saw come up during those, I don't even know how to describe, except to say that something it did take maybe a little bit. Sitting you finally, I found what I now if I can just how to get it.
That part was I wasn't even looking. I just come down
No.
there to see you for one day, and I was gonna roll.
I figured you'd come down to eat lunch with them. We'd go fishing. Yeah, the boys are back together with a whole new purpose. It'll take us a while to get regular on something that I want to survive in both of our lives. And
Hell yeah, brother. Thanks for coming. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for being our special guest star today. And thanks to everybody for checking in. Don't forget, support your American Legion. Check out Fourth Wall on the old computer there. What was the other thing? Wall and Patreon. We do have a Patreon.
Yep.
Don't do Patreon now. Hopefully our mods have a exclamation point link set up.
Oh yeah, shoot your local pedophile.
But yeah, we're gonna hopefully be doing this. I mean, I'm gonna keep trying to do it. Like I said, I've got so many irons in the fire. I'm trying to get my house ready to move out. I want to sell my house. I'm gonna put whatever equity I have from this, hopefully into pastures and the one barn. I would like to start with one horse and one. So, if anybody wants to stay and hang out, I'm gonna stay in Discord for a little bit. If anybody wants to stay in chat, ask questions, whatever, I'll be there. Do you want to stay and hang out for a little bit?
For a little bit, yeah.
Okay, cool. That sounds good. Again, everybody, thanks for checking in. We're going to go to our credit screen, so you're going to get a little bit of speech from me. Thank you all for watching. It's been such a pleasure and adventure. I can't paraphrase how this experience has been. I really appreciate all of those who helped make this happen. If you or anyone you know would like to be on the show, please reach out via Discord, email, or Facebook at patriotviewttv@gmail.com, Discord link, and the Facebook link, which usually I have prepared or Speedy does, but not today. Veterans, if you need to talk, call a brother. Reach out to our team via Discord or call the Veterans Crisis Line by dialing 988 or going to veteranscrisisline.net for online chat or texting 838-255. You all are invited to join us in Discord after the show. We are not going to be streaming NASCAR. This weekend's the All-Star Race, which kind of is become a joke, but that's another topic for another day. Please check out our Patreon at patreon.com/patriotview. I would be so grateful if you could make a donation. Not sure if they have to be monthly or not. If there's a one-time donation, that would be awesome. If not, again, cool. That break video link is not the link for our break video. I messed that up. Big thanks to our Patreons who have been supporting our channel for, I think the three names here, probably a year. Speedy, obviously Speedy's awesome. Cake the Head from Oklahoma, and Jay Brothers from Southern Illinois.
Thanks, guys.
You know what they say, don't talk about it, be about it.